Liminal spaces were a little cooler and a lot more pretentious to talk about before they became incredibly popular. If you've been on the internet enough in recent years, you've very likely seen at least one of these before. A photo was taken somewhere normal, an average setting. It's always abandoned by all signs of life, with low lighting and saturated musty colors. Even stranger is, a lot of photos have you saying, you were there, you've seen that place, but you know you haven't. It's too empty and devoid of anything. It almost brings a nostalgia, with some indescribable feeling you just can't shake. The word liminal means relating to a transitional or initial stage in a process. So liminal spaces are technically everywhere. Stairwells, hallways, streets, places that just get you from one physical space to another. These areas get creepier when they're abandoned. Not always, but sometimes they can feel eerie. Combine these daily locations with the idea of canopsia, a feeling that means the eerie atmosphere of a place that is usually bustling with people now abandoned. Liminal pictures bring you to a setting you've likely visited a lot, like a mall, completely empty. But it's unlike typical abandoned places. We understand that places get built, shut down, and then forgotten. But liminal photos are always taken as if everyone just disappeared at once, leaving the lights on or items scattered. Liminal spaces are seen more than you think, even outside normal life. You can find them in media a lot. Of course, you probably immediately thought the Backrooms, which is a great example. I feel like I don't need to explain the Backrooms, but I guess I will. This image was uploaded on 4chan with the idea that out of nowhere you no-clip out of reality and into the Backrooms, a different dimension that's seemingly an endless void of these kind of rooms. No-clip being a video game term when one object passes through another. For those of you who haven't seen the Backrooms webseries, I highly recommend it as it expands upon this incredible setting and it's not actually cringy. But these spaces are in a lot more. Personal recommendations are Control, which integrated its amazing shifting setting as part of the plot and the characters and the collectibles. The Stanley Parable shows an office where one day everyone disappeared and left you behind. Games Portal 1 and 2 are set in the long-abandoned Aperture Laboratories, combined with the fact that every other character is artificial in some way. Mirror's Edge, Alan Wake, What Remains of Edith Finch. An especially interesting one is Source Games. They get a sort of similar feeling. However, since you can just interact with other real players and people, the feeling isn't really canopsia, but more of Uncanny Valley because of how unnaturally weird the textures look. Liminal spaces are possibly shown even more in movies, although they are usually just an appearance of one set, such as the Overlook Hotel from The Shining, the ship from Alien, the pool from It Follows, the hatch from Lost. Movies with heavier feelings of liminality are both Blade Runners, The Mist, 28 Days Later, Fallen Angels, Twin Peaks. I could go on, and that's just a small list of things I've played and seen, but I think you get the point. Liminal spaces are everywhere in the world and in the media we consume. Now, you might be wondering why I listed some of those previous things, as they might not have such a prevalent liminal setting. That's where the title of this video comes in. You could be creeped out or eerily uncomfortable by seeing any of these photos or places, but that's not why you feel that unexplainable terror that you feel usually so little. Liminality doesn't have to be brought on by just seeing a physical space. Remember when I said the definition of it? Relating to a transitional or initial stage of a process. That feeling can be found completely outside of these photos, or places, or movies, or games. You can feel that way during any big change in life. Starting a new job, starting a new relationship, ending a relationship, going to a new school, graduating. You feel a hard-to-explain anxiety about this big adjustment in your life. the uncertain next step. It's about change. Humans naturally fear what they don't understand, the unknown. And big changes in our lives are things we can't possibly predict. We can't be sure how the outcome of the change will be, how our lives and ourselves will be affected. And it's hard to recognize whether something is changing or we are changing in the middle of that process. I've been going through a weird time in my life, and to put it simply, I've recognized that these photos simply mirror how I felt. I had to make a school project, and I chose the feeling of liminality. Unfortunately, I can't upload the project right now, but I hope to soon. Instead, I've been inspired to share about all of these spaces. These dingy, empty places are in the middle of their own transitions, whether it's just a photo taken at night by an employee who maybe thought it looked cool, but it will be full of people the next day, or a house that's being moved out of, or a building expecting to be torn down. From one day to the next, locations change, just like us. This is why you feel that way when you look at these photos. They represent something we just don't know. Life loves to thrust us out of a position we were comfortable in to give us new, uncertain people and places. The fact that all these spaces are in places we don't even think about helps us appreciate the idea of change. It's natural. Without those feelings, we wouldn't understand the importance of what was and what will be if we couldn't look at what's in between.